Our Wendy's Female Athlete of the Week for this week. She is a junior standout for Seaman girls wrestling, Rylee Murray. And Rylee, before we get to the girls wrestling season, the first girls wrestling season for the Seaman Vikings, let's start with your year up until this point, a couple of events so far this year. So in your junior season, first year with the program, what have you thought about your performance through the first few events?
I think I've done pretty good for being a first year. Right now I'm 5-1. We've had, I think, 3 meets so far, and for being a first year, I think, like, as a team, we're doing good, and as an individual, I think I'm doing pretty well.
So for you then, is this the first time you've ever wrestled, period, or have you had some background in the sport before you started at Seaman?
When I was like 5, I did some wrestling, but other than that, this is my first time on a mat.
Is it something that you've always been interested in ever since you were 5 years old and you first started, or is it something you kind of decided to do on a whim?
I just decided to do it. My older brother did it growing up, and he stopped in like middle school. So I've kind of grown up around it, but this was just my first year interest in it.
Rylee Murray is our Wendy's Female Athlete of the Week, a junior for Seaman girls wrestling. And Rylee, as I mentioned, this is the inaugural season for girls wrestling at Seaman, the 60th year of the program overall. When you heard that this program was starting at Seaman, was it something that you thought instantly, oh, I want to try this out because I've been around it my whole life, or did you have to get some convincing? Kind of take me through how you ended up starting wrestling at Seaman this year.
Well, actually, last year, Coach Kelly was trying to get me to do it, but I ended up not doing it. And then this year, my younger sister's a freshman, and I was like, all right, we can do it together. And then I kind of got her to do it. She got some of her friends. And then Coach Kelly and Coach Bushnell did a really good job of just asking everyone to do it. And I heard the other girls were doing it, so it was just kind of a chain reaction of people wanting to do it.
With the family connection there, how much easier has it been to start something new, almost completely different to you when you've got someone as close to you as your own younger sister doing it with you?
It was so much easier, like knowing we're going in it together, something that new.
Do you have a lot of other friends who are either your classmates in the junior class or any seniors, anyone else that you know who's been interested in the program either for a while or is just starting it up fresh like you this year?
No, I know we only have 2 experienced wrestlers in the whole program, so a lot of us are new, and my, like, only friend was my sister doing it, so I don't really have any friends going into it, but I've made a lot now.
We're talking to Rylee Murray. She is a junior standout for Seaman girls wrestling, and she is our Wendy's Female Athlete of the Week. So as you take over into this program then, and you just mentioned you don't have many experienced wrestlers in it and a lot of people who you on a personal level don't even know, what is it like to kind of step in and immediately be in sort of a leadership role being one of the upperclassmen? What's that been like for you?
It's been really fun. I like meeting everyone and just all the new relationships with the coaches and with the teammates. It's just fun.
Now, before wrestling, and you mentioned again, you started that when you were young, but took a long break from doing that. Have you been an athlete in other sports up until this point, or are you still an athlete in any sports?
Yeah, softball is my main sport, and so it was just wrestling was just something I wanted to do to challenge my athletic career, just give it something new, make me better at softball in some ways. But yeah.
When you speak about that, making you better in softball from your wrestling experience, what do you think are some of the skills that will help you with softball? Or alternately, what are some of the softball skills that maybe have helped you with wrestling so far?
Just endurance. Wrestling is definitely getting me in shape for softball. Just stuff like that. Just keeping me going.
When you got on the mat for the first time, you mentioned 3 events so far this year and 5-1. That is a pretty solid start no matter what sport you are competing in. What was it like the first time you got on the mat, you were ready, you heard the bell? Kind of take me through that experience, what it was like. Was it a little nerve-wracking? Were you confident the whole way?
I was definitely nervous at first. I was very nervous. But just being an athlete already, I knew just be aggressive, and I just kept that in my head and just made the first move, and from there.
Now, when you look ahead, because you're only a junior, so you've got the rest of the season and your senior year as well, is wrestling something you're planning to continue throughout your high school career? Do you see any sort of future with it, or is it just kind of a one-shot deal for you?
I'm definitely gonna do it next year. Finish this year, do it next year, and then if I didn't have softball, I'd probably go for it. Go for it for college, but I have softball. I'm trying to go to college for.
Do you have any schools for softball that you're looking at right now? Maybe some potential suitors for you for your next level?
Not yet. I'm looking at JUCOs around the Kansas area though.
Well, in softball and wrestling, Rylee Murray has been phenomenal so far throughout her high school career, including the start of this season for Seaman girls wrestling. And the junior standout is our Wendy's Female Athlete of the Week. Rylee, we appreciate the time. Thanks so much, and good luck with the rest of the first wrestling season at Seaman.
Thank you. Thank you for having me.